Hello, welcome back to The Void. It's business talk time. No, I'm not on fire. Those are just my GPUs. I want to talk about the state of AI. Obviously, everyone's been asking, is it a bubble? Now, as someone who is terminally online, I have looked high and low for every conceivable opinion, and there are a lot of them, and I created a little slideshow. The state of the bubble. First opinion, Jim Cramer, the GOAT, saying, don't listen to the skeptics, keep an open AI mind, and he's a believer.
Even though there are countless AI skeptics, the market clearly believes that OpenAI can afford to spend tens of billions of dollars on AMD's highest-end chips in addition to NVIDIA's chips. I know that I am a believer.
Now, on the other hand, you have people questioning all the amount of investment in these AI companies. Someone actually asked Mark Zuckerberg, all this money you're investing, is it worth it? Mark says, maybe we're going to misspend, but it's worth the risk.
It's a lot of money.
It is, and if we end up misspending a couple of $100 billion, I think that is going to be very unfortunate, obviously. But what I'd say is I actually think the risk is higher on the other side. If you build too slowly, and then super intelligence is possible in 3 years, but you built it out assuming it would be there in 5 years, then you're just out of position on what I think is going to be the most important technology that enables the most new products and innovation and value creation in history.
Obviously, it's from a CEO's perspective in big tech. You have to get on board the ship just in case it takes off and becomes the biggest product ever. But then you also have people, outsiders maybe like Hank Green, who are looking at a series of bubbles and saying maybe this is a bubble.
It took a little bit of time for me to parse, and once I did, it kind of terrified me. I'm going to show it to you as well. What a good little visualization we have on our hands here. How NVIDIA and OpenAI fuel the AI money machine. It just seems messy. It seems like bubble mechanics to me, you guys.
So yeah, Hank Green says maybe looks like bubble mechanics. I'm going to remind you guys that we're doing short clips here, so I'll leave the links to the full things below if you want to watch the full videos, get their whole perspective on the thing. This is obviously a very truncated version of that. I'm just trying to give you a sense of the wide variety of takes on this whole thing. We have Paul Tudor Jones saying that if there's a bubble, it's a very small bubble.
54% of fund managers think that we're in an AI bubble. If it's a bubble, it's a small one. If you think about the bubbles of the past 3 or 4 decades, the Nikkei in 89, NASDAQ in 99, biotech 2000, just after 2011, 12, China 2007, all those were 400 to 600% gains. The NASDAQ's up 200% off the bottom. So I don't know whether we're going to blow off like we did in 1999. Is it possible? Are all the ingredients in place? I think clearly they are. For me, the one thing that you can never, ever forget is that a year from today, assuming that the president gets his wishes, that the Fed funds rate's going to probably be 2.5% overnight rates or 2.75. That's a really compelling story for higher equity prices.
So there you go. All the ingredients might be in place, but it could go higher from here is Paul's point because of some macroeconomics. Then you also have the perspective that actually it's a huge bubble, not a small one. According to one analyst, the AI bubble is 17 times the size of the dot-com frenzy and 4 times the subprime. And then you even have takes that yes, it's a bubble, but it's not gonna pop yet. I've seen that a lot.
Are we in an AI bubble? Of course. Right? We were into that bubble. Of course we are. I mean, we're hyped, we're accelerating, we're putting enormous leverage into the system. That said, I don't see it ending for several years.
On top of that, of course, we have the opinion, I didn't represent it too much here, but that it's a bubble and that it's bad. This is probably most spearheaded by Ed Zitron.
The big question is whether or not all of this AI spending is a bubble.
Yes. You have committed to failure. There is no doing this. If they gave every dollar just to Sam Altman, the guy who can't even tell you why you're giving the money to him. No one else has a big business doing this. Even Claude Code with Anthropic, which is theoretically meant to be super popular, $33 million a month. That's less than the Cincinnati Reds make.
Ed's argument basically boils down to they're spending way too much money on AI. It doesn't justify itself in revenues. And perhaps the industry is just a much smaller industry than people are betting on. It's not going to be some $1 trillion industry. And then finally, you have of course, the perspective that yes, it's a bubble, but it's good. It's a good thing that it's a bubble, actually.
If you go back, like the 90s had a biotech bubble. And there were a bunch of pharma startup companies that were designing drugs and using new techniques, and the world got very excited. The investment world got very excited. As a group, they all lost money. But we did get a couple of life-saving drugs. A bubble like a banking bubble, the crisis in the banking system, that's just bad. That's like 2008. And so those bubbles society wants to avoid. The ones that are industrial are not nearly as bad. They could even be good, because when the dust settles and you see who are the winners, society benefits from those inventions. They still get those life-saving drugs. And that's what's going to happen here too. This is real. The benefits to society from AI are going to be gigantic.
Well, there it is. There's all the possible perspectives I could find on AI. It's not a bubble. It is a bubble. It's a small bubble. It's a big bubble. It's a bad bubble. It's a good bubble. And I just want to remind you that nobody really knows what the future holds. Lest you want to go ahead and short the market, just know that timing the market is never really that easy and usually fails. So I'm certainly not advocating anyone run out and change their financial position. I just wanted to summarize what has been confusing me lately, which is that I've been looking at this industry wondering, is it a bubble? And if so, how big? And when is it gonna pop, if ever? And so far, I've heard from a lot of people, some smart, some not, and almost no one agrees. Well, at least on the specifics. I should say, as I was reviewing this, I was like, well, actually, most people think it is a bubble of some kind. It's just like, is it a good bubble, bad? Like, what type is it? That's where everyone disagrees. I will say it was hard to find people who said there's no overspending going on. I think I even found a Sam Altman quote saying that, in a private dinner, he acknowledged that maybe some people are going to overspend. So I think most people who are paying attention, I guess I should say, will admit it's frothy. But exactly how bad things are, how unsustainable things are, is where everyone just kind of wildly disagrees. And yeah, that's the state of the bubble.